Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm your host, Lisa Ligas. In this edition, we will take a look at a new degree program proposed here at Missouri Southern State University in the study of food science and nutrition. In fact, by the year 2030, the state of Missouri is projected to see growth of 14% in employment in the food science and nutrition field. So, the time would seem right to train students for careers in this industry. Joining us to discuss the proposed degree are Dr. Lisa Toms, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, and Dr. Andrea Cullors, Chair of the Department of Kinesiology. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
So it certainly appears that this is a growing industry and growing job field. So even described as high opportunity with wages up to like $65,000. So for Joplin, that seems great. What is some of the evidence of that? I know, Andrea, you helped kind of pitch this, that it is a booming industry for us.
Well, you can really just drive around our area and you're going to see industry, food industry, all over. If you're driving down I-44, if you're going down to Northwest Arkansas. And so we have food industries popping up everywhere in our area. So there's a lot of job growth in that area. And then just the whole field of nutrition and food science is growing. In 2020, the White House devoted a whole conference on food science and nutrition. And so there's a lot of attention being paid to this field right now and the growth of it.
So it even says there might be job growth of 13% expected. So why is this a good time then, Dr. Toms, to develop a degree program?
Back a couple of years ago, we began to explore the opportunity to submit an application for a Title III grant, which is a SIP grant, and it gives us an opportunity as a university to identify what problem or problems we have on campus, and then to propose solutions and ask for funding to help with that. So we took the opportunity to propose several new degree programs as well as some other retention efforts, and the food science was one of those that rose to the top. So there's a couple, but food science is our first and I think probably going to be our best.
So tell us what it takes to create a new degree program and what kind of concerns or what would the Board of Governors be looking at before they say, yeah, let's agree to do this?
Well, here at Missouri Southern, obviously, we want to make sure that there's going to be demand not only for students to come in, but for employers to hire our graduates. So that's the first thing we look at. We look at the Department of Labor statistics. We have a software that goes in and estimates demand for future graduates as well as what our competition is offering, and is there a gap there between the graduates that are coming out and the number of graduates that would be needed by employers. So we look at that first, and then we look at some areas of expertise in our area. Food science is not something that we were that familiar with, but we felt strongly enough about it that we committed to moving forward with that program. And so then we asked faculty to come together and put together a curriculum. That gets passed through our on-campus governance, our curriculum committee, which we call UCPC, and then it goes to the Board of Governors, and they're going to look at it. They're going to look at, again, the information we've already asked for. What's the demand going to be? How much is it going to cost? Where's the money coming from? Once it is passed by the Board of Governors, then it goes to the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development. They ask similar questions, but sometimes different ones. And once they've approved it, then it has to go to our accrediting agency, the Higher Learning Commission, HLC. And they ask even more questions and different questions. And so once it's passed there, then it's approved and we are good to start marketing the program.
Excellent. So, Andrea, I know you had a significant role, and I mean, Department of Kinesiology does look a lot at health things. What are some of the aspects of this program that we can talk about as to what the students would learn and what would be examined in this major?
I think that food science and nutrition falls very much in line with Missouri Southern's commitment to immersive learning, applied learning. It's very hands-on classes, and so they're learning the concepts about food science, about different processing, analytical food science, microbiology, but most, if not all, the classes have a very hands-on component where they're doing experiments, they're testing things out, they're trying things out. So a lot of hands-on immersive learning in the program. And then there'll be the internship that is partnering them with local industry, so they're getting that experience as well.
And when food travels across the country, even data analytics might play a role, which we do have a degree program in that.
We do.
So let's talk about
And supply chain management,
which is a big
which
part.
will start this fall as
Okay,
well.
so they're all kind of interconnected.
It absolutely
and
is.
related. So when it comes to the title, the grant, what kind of funding does that offer us? What is that funding used for?
It's used for different things, from salaries. So the new faculty salary will be paid proportionally. The university will assume more responsibility over the 5 years of the grant, and then of course it will be institutionalized completely. Remodeling space for the lab, as well as purchasing the equipment that's necessary to put the lab together. And Andrea, do you remember other things that are in the?
It's primarily, yes.
Yeah.
It's primarily
so salaries, remodeling space, and equipment that we need to get it off the ground.
So it's really helpful to have that grant to make it happen.
Absolutely, yes, it is.
So when will the classes first be offered?
There'll be 2 classes offered this fall, and we're going to start, of course, building it from the ground up. So it'll be the lower level classes first, the next year, the next level, and so on until we have the program completely available.
Is this something offered at other universities, or will this be sort of somewhat unique to us, or is there kind of a demand for programs like this because it isn't offered many other places?
Primarily, food science has been at large land-grant universities. So universities, and they really focus a lot on that graduate education. So one thing that's really unique, and I think will make it such a successful program here, is that we're not a land-grant university. We're really going to be able to meet the needs of our local area, where food production, food growth is happening, and these students don't have to travel or go to much more expensive schools or at a much further distance. They can get that same education here in a smaller classroom size and much affordable price, and then be here near family and also be here where the jobs are.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand like farm to table. Will this cover kind of every aspect of that?
Yeah, yes, and that's one reason it's a food science and nutrition, because it does kind of cover that whole farm to table. So learning about maybe not the agriculture side as much, but what is happening when crops are grown, being able to analyze food or products after they're harvested, the processing, the cooking of it, the sensory evaluation of food, and then that nutritional aspect as well.
And certainly food safety is part of that.
Yes.
We have a lot of companies here that do cold storage, but also do processing and packaging, does that make them a good resource for you?
Yes, I mean, we have, and we talked a little bit just a minute ago about the interdisciplinary aspect, but there's also more interdisciplinary aspect with the environmental health and safety. So they offer a food safety course, which will be part of the degree. And so, yes, there's so many different aspects of food science that our students can explore and go into and make them very marketable in the workplace.
We have a very rich biology program. So do you feel like this can kind of be compatible with other departments and other degree programs?
Absolutely. Missouri Southern, I don't know that the public knows it, but it's a very collaborative place, and we have a lot of programs that cross both discipline and college lines, and so we're looking forward to seeing what comes out of this and collaborating with biology, with chemistry, with nutrition, with kinesiology. It's really exciting.
Andrea, how do you feel like it does work with kinesiology?
I get that question a lot, and I think ultimately food is how we fuel our bodies. It's and how that food is processed, how it's made, how it's marketed. All of those things go back to why the consumer eats it and how it impacts us internally. So I think it is a good fit. I know the faculty in our department are excited for this opportunity for growth and are looking forward to welcoming a new faculty member in the fall.
That'd be great. So we recently had a health summit here on campus, and a lot of the physicians are saying preventative medicine is a lot of you are what you eat, So will there be an element of kind of combining that with some of our health education as well?
I think definitely. I think there's definitely opportunities for that. That the whole microbiome and how what you eat affects your gut, and so many different opportunities and collaboration and research in these areas.
Well, it's great, and maybe partnering with local industries, which we'll be talking to. So thank you both for sharing all this information.
Thank you.
And when we come back, how the degree program could benefit the food industry and businesses in our community. Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we're discussing a new degree planned here at MSSU in food science and nutrition, an industry that seems strongly rooted in our area. Joining us to discuss how the degree can work with workforce development is Amy Kaufman, the Director of Workforce Business Expansion with the MoCan Partnership. Amy, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we opened our show with a statistic that indicates the food science and nutrition field is projected to grow by 14% in Missouri by 2030. Is there evidence of that here in Joplin?
Absolutely. We're a heavy manufacturing industry type community, and food and beverage is one of the biggest growing clusters in that manufacturing industry. And we're seeing our current employers grow and expand. So I can absolutely see that this would be in high demand.
Well, we're going to be talking with Schreiber Foods, and they actually have 2 plants in our area, which seems amazing. Is that common?
It's becoming more common, only because we're a great place to do business. We have a great workforce, we have low cost of living, and I think companies that see that we're here and they do well, they want to continue to invest and grow here. Yeah.
Okay. So what are some of the various industries that might kind of be applied to this food science degree? I mean, you mentioned food and beverage. Give us an idea of some of those companies.
Sure. I think food and beverage manufacturers like Ajinomoto, General Mills, Jasper Products, Refresco, Schreiber. We have a lot of food and beverage manufacturers. I could see manufacturing, hiring these people. I can also see packaging. We do have a lot of food packaging around here, as well as cold storage. With our highway system, we are a hub for distribution, so we have a lot of cold storage here, and so I think food safety is important when we're talking about storing it. And I can also see just anywhere where we serve food, healthcare industries, even our schools, I could see hiring people with this degree.
That's amazing. So, because I have noticed, like Don's Cold Storage is one of those businesses. I think it's grown 3 times.
Yeah.
Every time I drive by, there's like, wait, there's another building.
Yes.
So, in the industry, does our area make a difference? I mean, you mentioned our location. Does that make us a really good place for the food industry and the transporting?
Absolutely. Being that we're at the crossroads of I-49 and I-44, that just gives us so much connectivity. And in fact, I like to say we do 48 and 48, which means we can deliver within 48 hours to almost all 48 states here in the U.S. And so because of that connectivity, food and beverage is very important, and those trucks and manufacturers can get those products throughout the country quickly.
So when a business like Schreiber wants to grow, is it helpful to have a good workforce and know that the training is there? I mean, when you're trying to recruit a new business, I mean, grow one that's here or recruit a new one, does having that trained workforce help?
Absolutely. More and more as we're going into business attraction and trying to bring companies to the area, they always want to talk about infrastructure and land, but more and more the conversation is coming back to workforce. And they want to know that we have a trained and ready workforce here that can come in and get right to work.
So do you think this would be influential if you're selling an industry saying, hey, we have a food science and nutrition degree?
Absolutely. I'll be using this in my attraction efforts, yes. It does, because it shows that we do have a trained workforce that is ready to jump in. They know their stuff. They know how to make that company successful, and they can go right to work. So absolutely.
What are some of the other maybe sidebar things that we may not think about? You said, even like in a the food kind of production area, but are there other analytics that might be taken into account for companies that work in our area? I mean, are there other jobs that we might not be thinking about when we think of working on the line?
Oh, I think so. I think this degree will surpass just working on the line. I can see with safety, with sustainability, to help with technology, the amount of technology that's required by our manufacturers to make our food, make it safe, make it taste good, and make it transport well. Those are all very important things that I could see the food science industry really jumping in and being a leader in.
Is there a certain niche industry that you see coming to our area? And when it comes to the food products, I mean, is it more frozen foods? Is it the packaging of the fresh foods? What do you see growing?
Right now we see the making of the food. That seems to be really growing, although storage, like you said, Don's Cold Storage is popping up everywhere. So I would say distribution and also the manufacturing of our food. And I say manufacturing, but I mean creating it, assembling it, cooking it, making them into meals and sending them out. So I see that being a fast growing, especially with food prices in restaurants growing, more and more people are cooking at home.
So talk to us about when it comes to recruiting these companies, what do they ask of you? You said they do sometimes ask for infrastructure. Are they looking for a certain kind of employee, and will this degree kind of help fit the mold?
Absolutely. So when a company comes in, they're looking for all types of positions, everywhere from someone working on the line all the way up to a quality inspector and safety and an accountant and, and leadership roles. So they're really looking at the full spectrum. And I think with this degree and the variety of things they'll learn, I think it will give them some flexibility. And be able to pick and choose the best and brightest from our classes.
Do you think some of those industries would be willing to even come in and help instruct or give their, their needs and wants?
Absolutely.
And tell how the industry really works?
Absolutely. Right now, I think apprenticeships and internships are just more and more important because our unemployment rate is so low. Companies are really trying to capture the best and brightest that we have. So I could definitely see them partnering, and I hope they do partner with the department to kind of capture some of these students, and so we can keep them here.
Yes, and living in our...
Yeah.
Amy Kaufman, thank you so much for sharing all that information. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll visit with a local food safety expert on how the industry works. You're watching Newsmakers, and Darlington Snacks is a family-owned baking company that operates in Joplin and represents opportunities for students of the food science and nutrition degree. We're learning about the company and the food industry with help from Heath Browning, the Darlington Snacks Director of Research and Development and Co-Manufacturing Sales. Welcome, Heath. Give us an idea of the volume of bakery items you produce and what variety of snacks you create at Darlington.
Yeah, so Darlington Snacks has two major focuses of markets that we're in. We're both in the K through 12 market with daycares and facilities like pre-K and some collegiate units, as well as our long-term healthcare side. We run around 4 million units on average a week, in a unit being a cookie, cracker, or a bar. Those are our three main focuses that we stick to. So we run about 4 million units, whether that be a single bar, a single cookie, or a package of crackers or cookies a week.
So tell us about the variety of jobs at a food-based industry like yours that could be impacted by our food science degree.
There's so many you can start out with. From our quality assurance team, you could actually be on the line helping produce the products, knowing exactly what we're looking for nutritionally, all the way up to obviously our research and development team. It's really kind of runs the gamut. Those are our biggest ones. And then obviously running up into some form of other kind of management that you have, helping produce any kind of product that is gauged towards whatever market we're looking for. We're always looking for people in that area.
Food safety is always very important. How integral is that, and what does that entail at Darlington?
We have annual audits from SQF to we have the USDA come in. We have many different facilities that come in to make sure that Our HACCP plans are in place. We have to make sure that our food is protected and stored in a certain way. Some of our stuff has different ingredients that are refrigerated, for instance, or you just want to make sure that any of the dry product that we have is stored properly. So food safety for us, especially going into the two markets that we have, long-term healthcare being, obviously very important because of people's health, and then obviously, the children's market, two are very vulnerable areas. So when it comes to our food safety, it is extremely important to make sure that we're putting out the best quality we can for those two markets because of everything that they have and what we have.
I know you have a neat automated packaging line system. How important is it for employees to understand that and that training on the line and on site?
And would it be possible for our students to be able to learn on site? Do you think that would be a good relationship to have? Tell us about your technology and automated system, because I saw a video online and it's great.
Yeah, actually we've spent a fair amount of money over the last couple of years installing a lot of new equipment that has helped that out. We have they're called VFFS, which is it's a Viking vertical form and seal packaging. We also do a flow wrap for cookies and bars. And to say that the learning on the floor is imperative. It is one that no matter how much research and things that we do ahead of time, there's always things to learn on the floor. For a student coming in that wants to learn, those are probably the easiest. But the importance of having a kind of an automated system like that, to give you an idea, prior to our new vertical form and seals, we were doing about 60 to 80 packages a minute, which is about one a second. Going to a better automated system, we can now do almost 200 in a minute. Doubled, if not tripled in some cases, the way we're able to package and get out into the industry. I'm one that I do love the use of technology being added into it, but I don't want to take it away too much, because I think that the human side is also a very important factor in taking care of these products to the end customer.
Thanks for sharing all this information. We'll be back with Schreiber Foods next. You're watching Newsmakers, where we are talking about a food science and nutrition degree program here at MSSU, a growing industry in the 4 states. Joining our conversation is Enterprise Quality and Food Safety Manager at Schreiber Foods, Jamie Laughlin. Jamie, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So it is amazing to me, Schreiber Foods has 2 plants in Carthage, but actually 4 in our region. Give us an idea of the volume of the kinds of foods you produce, because most of us think of Schreiber and think cheese.
Yeah,
only.
so we do have 4 facilities in the Southwest Missouri region, as well as a few distribution centers. So we are actually a global customer brand company. We produce natural cheese, cream cheese, processed cheese, yogurt, and beverages. We have over 10,000 employees worldwide. We are based in North America, but we have presence on 5 continents. So a lot of people don't realize, because they don't hear our name. But we work with some of the best retailers, other manufacturers, restaurants, as well as distributors. And we really strive and take our responsibility really serious in doing good in the world. And so we really strive to do good through food.
Excellent. Well, your title says it all. So, enterprise, quality, enterprise, and food safety. So those are the issues that our students will probably be dealing with this new degree. What are you looking at when we say food safety? Is that storage, temperatures, packaging, and processing, and all that?
Yeah, so food safety encompasses many different principles. So some of the things most common we hear is sanitation, the cleaning and sanitizing of equipment, not just equipment, but also utensils and production environment. GMPs, which are good manufacturing practices. Most commonly you hear with personal hygiene, hand washing, sanitizing, all important. There are many other different things, from allergen program, pest control program, how we handle, how we store, how we transport food, all those things. So really there's a lot of different principles all about really protecting the consumer.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of what you make are cold food products. So then you would have to have, I guess, refrigerated trucks. And so does the location here in the center of multiple interstates, does that help you when it comes to distributing your product?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being in the central of the U.S. in the Joplin area by major interstates, it really is an advantage. And so we do have refrigerated trucks that ship all of our product across the country. So it's really important. And we have an advantage of that being centrally located.
Who sets the standard for your food quality, and like how often are you inspected? Are those going to be things that a student in a food science degree would need to know?
Yeah, so FDA sets the standards for our products from a food safety quality standpoint. So FDA is over the dairy industry, and then the state agencies also are over the plants in their state. And then we also have customers that set standards. So customers have products that they want to meet certain quality standards. So depending what the product is being used for, is it going on a burger, it needs to melt? Is it going on a pizza? Is it going on a cold sandwich? So there's different quality standards we have to follow as well with our customers.
That's really interesting. I never thought about that.
Yep.
How they're going to use it can be important for how you produce it. So when you talked about cleaning and sanitizing, is this a daily routine? Do you have to shut down the plant? I mean, is it a big process?
It is, and it really depends on the product we're making. So the frequency can vary. Could be daily, it could be weekly. Different things get cleaned at different frequencies. But sanitation is really important.
Okay. So let's talk about the biggest challenge when it comes to shipping those food products and getting them out, and how that might be an area of study for a student when it comes to routes and analyzing data.
Yeah, so we produce perishable food. So it's really important that our supply chain is efficient because, example, for yogurt has a shorter shelf life. So you can't have a bunch of food sitting there in storage that's going to go bad and have a bunch of food waste. So we have to ensure that we are managing that correctly and getting close to our customers. And I would say another thing that is even more challenging today is what we call the Amazon effect. You know, products to the consumer 1 to 2 days. It's not just business to business. It's directly to that consumer within 1 to 2 days. So that sets up some challenges as well, especially with perishable foods.
Yeah. So let's talk about how having this program here at Missouri Southern could help your business. Is it a good thing to have people being trained right in the neighborhood, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I was actually one that many years ago started out through Schreiber as an intern, and I've now been with the company for over 18 years.
Wow.
And so it's really great to have it right here in backyard. I mean, with our 4 facilities right here in Southwest Missouri, it really is a great program at MSSU.
So there could be opportunities for students to come in there and learn. How do you think that benefits the company when they get in there before they even are hired?
Yeah, it's great because not only is the company able to see you and how you will be, but also you're getting to see how the company is. And it's really important. You want to do something that you love and you're passionate about.
Sure.
So it's really great to get involved in an internship.
So does your company have students training specifically for the industry even now?
Yes, absolutely. We take internships. We have some internships, you know, most of the time you think of during summer. We do have some during the winter months, and we have some that work actually during the school year as they are available from after their classes.
And what would be the variety of jobs that a student might be thinking about, or they may think it's all line work, but it's not?
It's not. And so there's a lot of different opportunities, whether it be you're directly involved in operations, so the manufacturing of the product and leading people to produce that food, or it could be more in the food safety quality side of it, which that can get in a lot of details on both sides of that. So it could be regulatory or customer requirements, R&D, culinary. There's a lot of different, I mean, the list could go on of the opportunities there.
Well, it sounds like a great partnership we need to have with Schreiber
Yes.
Foods. Thank you so much for sharing all this information.
Yeah, thank you.
And food science and nutrition classes will begin in the fall. That wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. Thanks to our guest, and thank you for watching Newsmakers.